Shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to where it's due to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem Rachakwadash. Double honors as always to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone who are well and who taught us truth. Today's video is going to go into how your constitutional rights have been stripped away from you before your very eyes, which really they've always been stripped from you. But, we're seeing it full-fledged of them, aka you got Trump, and ultimately, the elites, the ones behind the scene, before your very eyes, showing you that you're not in control. For the people, by the people, that was a facade. It is not for the people. It is not by the people. It is for the elites and by the elites. And they want total control. And they're showing it before your very eyes that you have no constitutional rights. So I got a few videos that I wanted to play. I just got here. Is the Constitution being stripped before the eyes of the people? Short answer, not formally, but functionally, pressure is being applied, and this is from ChatGPT. And that's why people feel like something is slipping. Let me explain cleanly without hyper dismissal. Is the Constitution being stripped? Legally, no. The Constitution is still in force, which really, this is just a covering, really. They're making it sound clean, but really, it's gone, man. Since courts still exist, rights still exist on paper. With us, it's on paper. No amendment repealing core rights has happened. Practically, parts of it are being narrowed, bypassed, or conditioned in ways people feel immediately. And you're feeling it. They want to take away your guns. They want to take away your freedom of speech, which, some of these videos we're going to get into. This is how constitutions actually erode. They almost never disappear. All at once, they erode through exceptions taken and emergencies for national security, for public safety, temporary measures that quietly become permanent. And is that not what we're seeing before our very eyes? It's an emergency. We need your weapons. National security, we need your weapons. For public safety, we need you to stay inside. Before, and like I said, with anything and everything, it doesn't happen all at once. There's always a process for everything to take place. It happens in stages and increments. It doesn't just happen all at once. They do it. So it's like when you have a frog in boiling water, or you put it in cold water and then you slightly turn it up to boil, to where the frog doesn't notice anything and it's killing itself. Because if you try to put a frog in boiling water immediately, it immediately jumps out. But if you start it from cold and you slowly increment it up to a boil, that frog doesn't notice that it's dying. It's always done in stages so that the people cannot react as a frog would react if it was in boiling water immediately. So it says, for public safety, temporary measures that quietly become permanent. Selective enforcement rights exist, but only some people can safely exercise them. Others face consequences, surveillance, or force. So the only people that can use them safely and exercise them safely is going to be the government. It's going to be the military. It's going to be ICE. It's going to be the ones in power. The ones in authority, not the average American. Language drift, rights reframed as privileges, dissent reframed as extremism, self-defense reframed as threat posture, and we're seeing that right before our everything that has been mentioned here. We're seeing it quietly increasing and intensifying, man. National security, we need to do potentially insurrection act. He shouldn't have had a weapon, which we're going to get that video as well. It says force first, explanation later. Actions occur, justification comes after. Accountability becomes unclear or delayed. So My rights, that creates a sense of my rights technically exist, but exercising them feels riskier. Damn, if we do pull out a gun, we might get killed, even though it's our right to bear arms. You know, we can go out and protest peacefully, but we might get shot. We better stay inside. So let's get this video real quick. Not this one, not this one. We'll start with this one.
The amendments to the Constitution.
Right. So this is
Remember
from Sawyer Hackett. Here are 7, and this was back in March 28th, 2025. Here are 7 constitutional rights Trump has already obliterated or targeted. And we've seen it before our very eyes, man. So let's get into it.
You had to remember in school when you had to memorize the amendments to the Constitution? Let me explain how Trump has obliterated or targeted at least 7 of them so far. Surely you remember the First Amendment: freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom to protest. Trump's not a fan of any of it, and he hasn't been shy about it either. On freedom of the press, he's revoked the media credentials for certain outlets that cover him, like the Associated Press. He's sued the parent companies of ABC, CBS, the Des Moines Register, Gannett, and the Pulitzer Center for negative coverage. And he said that MSNBC and CNN are, quote, illegal while speaking at the DOJ. When it comes to the right to protest, he's using an obscure 70-year-old law to arrest protesters for nothing more than speech. He's using the DOJ to investigate protests and speech at universities. He's threatened to cut off funding for schools, both public and private, if he doesn't like what they teach, or if he doesn't like what their professors or their students say. And he's even laid out plans to invoke the Insurrection Act, to use the military as a police force to squash future protests. He's also signed...
Is that not what we're seeing right now? That he's saying that he might declare the Insurrection Act? We're seeing that, man.
Executive orders to dictate which terms of expression that people and organizations...
Trump talks free speech while moving to muzzle those he disagrees with.
...use. He's demanded blind loyalty from public servants, and he's fired any federal employees who've expressed opinions that he doesn't like. Then there's the Fourth Amendment, which protects against unlawful search and seizure. The Trump administration has invoked a wartime law from 235 years ago to essentially eliminate the Fourth Amendment. They've already detained at least one legal resident without charging him with a crime, and they claim that this law gives them the authority to enter any home without a warrant, something that's been unconstitutional for centuries. He's even threatened to denaturalize U.S. citizens so that he can ship them off to prison camps in El Salvador. These are all violations of due process, or the right to a fair legal process, some of which are outlined in the Fifth Amendment. Then there's the Sixth Amendment, which guarantees the right to an attorney and the right to a fair trial. Last week I made a video about how Trump is using his office to go after big law firms that have opposed him or represented Democrats. These attacks on law firms aren't just about retribution. They're intended to intimidate anyone from representing someone who might oppose Trump, and they're already working. If this retaliation goes unchecked, folks who speak up against the Trump administration might not be able to find a lawyer to represent them. The 10th Amendment gives states the right to govern themselves, but Trump is punishing states that don't fall in line with his agenda, threatening to withhold federal funding if they don't comply with his illegal edicts. The 14th Amendment, among other things, defines citizenship as, quote, all persons born or naturalized in the United States. Trump tried to sign an executive order to abolish the right to citizenship for people who were born in the United States. Last, but definitely not least, is the 22nd Amendment, which puts a 2-term limit on the presidency. One of Trump's top strategists has already said that he and others are working on a plan to have Trump run and win a 3rd term. Again, blatantly unconstitutional. Trump's attacks on our constitutional rights are part of a bigger strategy to enrich and empower himself, crush his opponents, and subvert our democracy. This is the biggest constitutional crisis we've faced since the Civil War. Our fundamental freedoms are at stake. So share this video to...
So your rights are gone, man. Dude said they're trying to overturn the 19th Amendment. It's gone, man. It's gone. You know, he may have, exaggerated some of the stuff, but at the same time, he's not, because that's where everything is moving to. It says we are not in open tyranny, but we are moving towards open tyranny. They just haven't come out full-fledged and said it. Let's get this scripture real quick. Revelation 12. And there's a spirit to be in, man. Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time, and they know that they have a short time. They have a little time left, so they're gonna come down with great wrath. You're no more constitutional rights. They're gone. It's been stripped. It's always been stripped, but they've just laid it out full-fledged right now, man, that you have nothing. That's even what Klaus Schwab said, the former head of the WHO. He said you will own nothing and be happy. So this is their agenda. This is what everything is moving towards. The NWO, stricter lockdowns, tighter security, tighter surveillance, strict surveillance. This is what they want, man. A police state. So let's get this real quick as well. Now this is pause this. This is I seen this the other day and I had to go find it. Texas police show up at a disabled veteran's house for comments he made online about the Uish community. Let's see what it has to say. They're coming down, man. You don't have the right to speak about them. You can't, or you will. They already know what you're saying, as it's going to go into.
We're here because of the comments you made online about the Jewish community.
We're here because what? We're here because of the comments made online about the Uish community. They know what you're saying. They know what you're saying. They know what you're doing. They see it. Which also shows that we're getting closer to the famine of the word. Let's get that real quick. Amos 8 and verse 11. Behold, the days come, say the Lord power Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst of water, but of hearing the words of the Lord Yahweh. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord Yahweh and shall not find it. Who's the main people, proclaiming that the Uish community is false, a facade, fakers, phonies? You tell me. And that's who they're going to come after, man. The elected nation of Israel.
Because of the comments you made online about the Jewish community.
So what?
No, I'm saying, are you?
I have a freedom of speech, dude.
Yeah, no, we get that.
We get that.
We gotta make sure that you're not.
So if you get that I have freedom of speech, why are you here asking me about it?
Get a warrant?
No.
No, that's why we're
Okay,
here.
you see that sign?
Yeah.
So it says no soliciting. What you're doing is basically soliciting. You understand that, right? Yeah. It means you're not welcomed here.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Okay.
Stay off the lawn, please. This is what they're doing, guys. You make comments.
And soon it's going to come to a point to where they're not going to leave. They're not going to leave either. They're not going to leave, or you're going to leave with them. And you're not going to like where you go. That's why we need the protection of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai in the times that we're coming into.
It's about the Jews online. They'll fucking show up at your door. This is what they do. This is freedom of speech. This is how much
You have no freedom. There is no freedom. This is how much control Israel has over our country.
control Israel has over our country.
Look, three different cars show up for one dude, quote unquote, talking about the Uish community. It says a disabled veteran. So how much more so the prophets? We're right there, man.
Look at this response. For exercising my freedom of speech online. Wow. What a fucking joke. What a fucking joke.
Coming to the time to where it's not going to be a joke, and they're going to be serious, man. And they're going to start cracking down more and more. Anti-Shum. Anti-Sim. More crackdowns are coming, man. Let's get this last video. from Newsbreak.
Do you think he was acting?
So this is from Newsbreak. And one day ago, President Donald Trump said Tuesday that he did not think Alex Preddy, the second U.S. citizen to be offed by federal forces in Minnesota this month, was acting as an assassin. You can't have guns. You can't walk in with guns. What are you talking about? He was outside on a public street with what's it called? He was allowed to carry. He had his right to carry. So what are you talking about? Can't walk in with guns. They was on private, or not private, but public property. He can carry, showing you that your rights are gone, man.
Mr. Preddy acting as an assassin. Do you think he was acting as an assassin in Minneapolis?
Who is that?
Mr. Preddy, your deputy chief of staff said that. You don't think so?
With that being said, you can't have guns. You can't walk in with guns.
What about the Second Amendment?
Listen, you can't walk in with guns. You can't do that. But it's just a very unfortunate incident.
What about the Second Amendment, sir?
You see, they say, "What about the Second Amendment, sir?" And he kept ignoring and brushing that off, because he knows that your Second Amendment is gone. Your First Amendment is gone. Your Third Amendment is gone. Your Fourth, your Fifth, your Sixth, all the way down to the bottom is gone. Your amendments, your rights are gone, man. This is not America. The home of the free, the land of the free, the home of the brave, the land of the slave, and the home of the weak, of the sissified motherfuckers, man. That's what this place is. The land of the slaves, of the bond. You're going to be bound, man. This is their agenda. This is what everything is working towards. Police state, Second Esdras. And you already had Klaus Schwab also, I believe it was Klaus Schwab also say that he likes the way that China runs their country, and he wishes that all countries would be like China. How is China ran? Like a police state, communist, surveillance. Is what everything is moving towards, man. Second Esdras 15 and verse, because people ain't going to just sit there and take it, man. No matter how long, you're going to have people who rise up, but the majority of people, the vast majority of the people at the end are going to accept it, man. They're going to have no choice, because Esau is about to come with overwhelming force, and you're not going to be able to stop him. You can't stop him when he has his blessing, the sword. Second Esdras 15 and verse, let's get verse 15 for the verse 14. 15 and 14, Second Esdras 15 and 14. Woe to the world, and then the door therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So they're not going to regard what Trump's saying, what the government's saying. So there's going to be sedition. But at the end of the day, that's what they want. Order ab chaos. Order through chaos. This is what they want, man. More police state. More surveillance. Verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. You have no rights. You got to stay inside. You can't go nowhere. Who the hell you think you are? You don't have permission. You don't have the authority. You haven't been allowed, and you don't have a pass to leave. So stay your ass inside. That's what they're going to tell you, man. If you don't stay your ass inside and you don't have the pass, then you're going to get shot. You're going to die. You're going to go to a concentration camp. Okay, sir, well, you want to leave, or you going to leave with us, and you ain't going to like where we take you. This is what everything is moving towards, man. This is a spirit to be in, because we are in those times. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the spirit, to the body, and to the fold. And before I end it off, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to where it's due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Chakudas, and double honors as always to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone. Until next time, Shalom.